You'll believe a man could fly. In this episode of Fellowship of the Father, we'll take a look at the movie Superman. Okay, folks, so that's what I like about these movies. They're all a little bit different from the other ones. So let's go ahead and explain the concept of Superman, right? So back in the 70s, the tag was used on the film was, "You'll believe a man could fly." You'll believe a man could fly. So why would you believe a man could fly? Well, if you believe the Bible, you may already believe that a man could fly. Because one of the last things Jesus did was he ascended into heaven in front of his disciples. So what did that look like, I wonder? Did he just vaporize like an invisible man, or did he just slowly begin to raise off the ground? Did he take off like Superman? What did that look like? So some of you already believe a man could fly. So that's a pretty amazing thought all on its own, right? So what is the symbology of Superman? So think about the character of Clark Kent. What is Clark Kent exactly? Clark Kent is the part of the male that leaves himself vulnerable, even though he probably shouldn't leave himself vulnerable, but he takes the risk. And that's the nurturing side of the male psyche, which is also how that's when you're in your beta energy. That's when you're in your back off energy. That's when you say, okay, the wife's acting a little bizarre, so I'm going to make room for her to go ahead and act a little bizarre and be emotional, make some foolish moves, but I won't step in and manhandle that thing, right? That's the Clark Kent. Then you have the Superman, who is invincible to just about everything. So I guess there are different heroes that are stronger than Superman I've seen, but there's never one that has been elevated in the way that he is in comic books. So he's basically the top dog in the series somehow, some way. And now you see what's going on. He's like the ultimate alpha male is what he is, basically. He's impervious to anything, so he doesn't hide behind a rock. He takes the bullet straight onto the chest. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So what does all this symbology mean? So you think about what happened in Superman 1. He shows up, they establish the character, and he goes against the corporate head, which is Lex Luthor. Right? He was the capitalist pig. Think about the colors of the Superman outfit. He's red, white, and blue character with some yellow. Well, the yellow would represent the sun, as he is light, as he is truth, right? Truth, justice, the American way. But you see what's been going on with this character throughout time now is you're starting to see different variations of Superman, like a darker Superman with a black outfit, or there was the death of Superman in one of the comic books and then the movies, where this alpha male character has to die. Got to get rid of that alpha male character. So they get rid of him, and then what's one of the first things they do is they try to resurrect him again, because they realize that he's actually needed. Wow, what a concept. We actually need males. We actually need male energy. Very interesting. So in Superman 2, what happens? What happens in Superman 2? He realizes he's head over heels in love with Lois Lane, right? She's got a crush on him, but he's in love with her. She likes him because he's a provider. He's a beta male, or he's an alpha male. He's the kind of man that will take care of meets. That's why she has a crush on him, or that's why she's considering him. But he's all in. He's just fallen in love with her. And so the consequence to that thinking is that he totally submits to the concept of being Clark Kent. He decides he's going to take on that character for the rest of his life, and he hands over his ability to be in charge, in control, and be 100% alpha. He hands it over for good. And his mom actually says, this is irreversible. You will not be able to get back to who you were if you do this. He doesn't care. He gets emotionally taken away, and he hands it all away. He hands in the outfit, right? And he becomes this very weak character. But he's nice, so let's see what happens. So immediately he gets challenged by another alpha. This alpha has no morals, so he beats the living crud out of him. Long story short, we go through this big long battle between this quasi-god Zod, which funny how Z-O-D instead of G-O-D. He's a false god, but he's a god all the same. And at the end of the movie, Clark realizes that he has to step up into his alpha male. He has to run out of that energy instead of becoming this beta that just sits around being tortured with the rest of mankind, right? So that's the reason for those films, is that we all imagine a day when we won't have to put in the kind of effort that we have to put in. We all imagine that day, I'm sure. When you're feeling miserable and you got to go to work, who wants to get up and go to work when you're feeling miserable? But you don't ask men that. You don't ask, hey, do you want to go to work? I remember my dad's my Superman in my life, kind of, is that he would get sick and you go to work. One day he didn't show up to work. One day he decided he wasn't going to go to work. And I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. That is not good when my dad calls in sick to work. He was running his own company. And being the CEO, he could have easily been the kind that would push off his responsibilities and go golfing. He could have done that. But instead, he wanted to go to work every single day. Anyway, he decides one day he's not going to go to work. And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, I got a side ache. And it turned out I had appendicitis. And I think it burst. And so, yeah, that's what it takes to pull down Superman in my household, is that you got to be on death's bed, basically, before he'll call in work. That's who I got to look up to when I was growing up. And we're getting to be so protective as a society. It's getting absurd. Out of nowhere, everyone just started getting head injuries in football. Went from an occasional one here and there, and like that's just part of the sport, to there's like an epidemic of head injuries. What on earth is going on, man? And the protective gear is more protective than ever. So how is this happening? It's like we're just becoming soft, man. We're just softening up. It's like, do we really want to be soft? Do we want to be Clark Kent for the rest of our lives, or do we want to step into the Superman side of things? So that's our choice, guys. It's like, are we going to be heroic, or are we going to be lame? We're going to be those sheep for the rest of our life, or are we going to grow and we're going to be something else? That's what Fellowship of the Father is about, guys. We can support each other as we step into something stronger, more amazing, more magnificent, more godly, and more miraculous. That's when the magic starts to happen. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. That's Superman, and this is Fellowship of the Father. And I hope to talk to you later. You have a great day. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.